What happened to the tip of the Great Pyramid of Giza? Known as the Pyramid Ion, this small but crucial element may have once been coated in gold or electrum, making it shimmer in the desert sun like a beacon to the gods. Ancient legends hint it held more than just aesthetic power. It was believed to channel divine energy from the heavens. But here's the twist. No one has ever found it. No surviving blueprint, no fragments, no definitive record. Some say it was looted in antiquity. Others believe it was never installed at all, a ceremonial absence symbolizing the eternal. Imagine constructing a monument so colossal that a single design flaw could bring the whole thing down. That's what makes the bent pyramids so fascinating and so controversial. At Dashur, this ancient pyramid rises at a steep 54-degree angle until halfway up, where it abruptly shifts to a gentler 43 degrees. Some say engineers panicked when they noticed stress cracks forming, evidence of near collapse. Others believe the change was intentional, meant to represent the transition from earth to sky, or the duality of life and death. Deep within the Great Pyramid of Giza lies a mystery only machines have glimpsed. In 1993, a small robot named Up-You-Out to ascend up a narrow, claustrophobic shaft in the Queen's chamber. After a slow, careful climb, it stopped in front of something astonishing, a tiny stone door, sealed for over 4,000 years, fitted with two mysterious copper handles. Behind that, nothing but silence and then another door. We think of Cleopatra as the ultimate Egyptian queen, iconic makeup, golden throne, and a legacy tangled in Nile-drenched myth. But here's the truth. Cleopatra VII wasn't ethnically Egyptian at all. She was Macedonian Greek, descended from Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's top generals who took control of Egypt after his death. Her dynasty, the Ptolemies, ruled for nearly 300 years without speaking the local language or fully adopting Egyptian customs. Centuries before Hippocrates, Egyptian physicians were documenting surgical techniques, diagnostic procedures, and treatment plans that still astonish modern science. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, dated to around 1600 BCE, reads like a trauma surgeon's manual. It details spinal injuries, brain surgery, wound treatment, and even the prognosis of various fractures. Greek historian Herodotus claimed he saw something greater than the pyramids, a vast underground labyrinth near the city of Huera. He described 3,000 interconnected chambers, carved with stunning reliefs, so vast that anyone without a guide would be hopelessly lost. But when modern archaeologists arrived centuries later, nothing. When you think of mummies, you picture golden sarcophagi and pharaohs wrapped in linen. But in reality, mummification was democratized. By the later dynasties, it wasn't just for royalty. Middle-class Egyptians began preserving their loved ones, believing every soul deserved safe passage to the afterlife. But it didn't stop with humans. Archaeologists uncovered millions of mummified animals: cats, dogs, ibises, baboons, even bulls and crocodiles, all laid to rest with care. The Valley of the Kings was supposed to hold the most sacred, secret burials in Egypt. But not all of its tombs led to treasure. Some went nowhere, elaborate passageways carved deep into the limestone only to end abruptly. No sarcophagus, no burial chamber, just smooth, empty rock. Which of these blew your mind the most so far? Smash that like button if you've learned something new, and subscribe for more history reimagined. Forget one-size-fits-all spirituality. The Book of the Dead wasn't a standardized scroll. It was a personalized guidebook to the afterlife, tailored for each individual soul. The ancient Egyptians believed that passing into the next world required knowledge, secret names, ritual phrases, and passwords to navigate challenges in the underworld. Every copy varied, filled with specific spells chosen based on the deceased's life, social status, and beliefs. Some books had over 100 spells, others just a few essentials to guide the soul. These scrolls weren't just buried. They were commissioned, crafted, and curated like custom autobiographies. Families paid scribes to ensure their loved one would be remembered, recognized, and reborn. It was faith, art, and survival strategy combined into one sacred text. Egyptologist Raymond Faulkner called it a map for the soul's journey through chaos to cosmic order. Long before modern chemistry labs, the ancient Egyptians created the world's first synthetic pigment, a radiant, sky-like hue we now call Egyptian blue. Made from silica, copper, lime, and heat, it was used to paint tomb ceilings, godly garments, and sacred objects. But here's what makes it even more extraordinary. Under ultraviolet light, it glows. This glowing effect hints at how deeply they understood both aesthetic and symbolic energy. Used to invoke the divine and mimic the heavens, Egyptian blue was more than just color. It was coded meaning in mineral form. Yet after the fall of the Roman Empire, the formula vanished for nearly 1,400 years. It wasn't until the 19th century that scientists began to reverse engineer it, rediscovering the blend with spectroscopic tools. Today, NASA studies Egyptian blue for use in infrared sensors and biomedical imaging. Lost knowledge can still illuminate the future. The gods once wore it. Now satellites may carry it into the stars. In a land where gods ruled everything, from the flood of the Nile to the afterlife, Akhenaten did the unthinkable. Around 1350 BCE, he abolished Egypt's pantheon of deities and declared Aten, the sun disk, the one true god. Temples to Ammonius, Osiris, and Ra were shut down. Statues were defaced. Even the word gods was chiseled off monuments. It was history's first recorded experiment in monotheism, centuries before Judaism took form. Akhenaten moved Egypt's capital to a new city he built from scratch, Amarna, a metropolis devoted solely to Aten. He changed art, religion, and power structures, presenting himself and Queen Nefertiti as divine intermediaries. But after his death, the backlash was swift. His son, Tutankhamun, restored the old gods and moved the capital back to Thebes. Akhenaten was branded a heretic, his name erased from king lists. As author Nicholas Reeves puts it, he was both revolutionary and ruinous. You'd think the world's most famous tomb had given up all its secrets, but maybe not. In 2015, radar scans of Tutankhamun's tomb revealed something stunning: anomalies behind the north and west walls, suggesting hidden chambers. Theorists quickly jumped to one tantalizing idea, that behind those walls lies the lost tomb of Queen Nefertiti, Akhenaten's powerful consort and possibly the true architect of the Amarna Revolution. The evidence? Architectural asymmetry, unfinished decorations, and a layout unfit for a king. Dr. Nicholas Reeves proposed that Tut's tomb was originally built for Nefertiti, but hurriedly repurposed when the boy king died young. Yet despite the buzz, Egyptian authorities paused deeper investigation. Political shifts, preservation concerns, and scholarly disagreements all stalled the next steps. Something is there, Reeves insists, but no one wants to be the one who breaks the wall. Scattered across Egypt's Great Sand Sea is a strange material, translucent, yellow-green chunks of ultra-pure desert glass. It's not volcanic, it's not man-made, and it can only be formed by heat hotter than 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than any ancient furnace. Most scientists believe it came from a meteor airburst or cosmic impact that liquefied the desert in an instant, turning sand into glass. This wasn't just a natural wonder. King Tut's breastplate contained a carved scarab made from this very glass. The object sat over his heart, its glow unlike any other jewel in his burial trove. To ancient Egyptians, this cosmic stone may have symbolized rebirth through fire, celestial power, or divine descent. Researchers are still debating whether it came from a crater-forming strike or a Tunguska-like explosion in midair because no clear impact site has ever been found. To the ancient Egyptians, writing wasn't just communication, it was creation. Every hieroglyph carried power. To inscribe a name or a symbol wasn't just to record it, it was to bring it into existence. That's why names of enemies were often deliberately erased from monuments, to erase their souls from memory and the afterlife. Some spells warned that even reading certain glyphs out loud could trigger divine forces. Scribes were not mere clerks, they were spiritual technicians trained in sacred language with life-altering potential. The word for hieroglyph literally meant words of the gods. Tombs were inscribed with spells, invocations, and protections meant to activate after death. Each carved stroke an act of metaphysical engineering. Modern linguists credit Egypt's writing system as one of the oldest forms of abstract thought in history. Unlike most major rivers, the Nile flows south to north, from deep in Africa to the Mediterranean. This unique orientation flipped the Egyptian worldview. Upper Egypt was to the south, Lower Egypt to the north. Maps, language, even burial customs followed this logic. Life literally moved upstream. The sun's journey mirrored the Nile's flow, rising in the south, dying in the north. Temples and tombs were designed accordingly. Many gods had dual aspects tied to the Nile's two regions, like Horus and Set, representing harmony and chaos. To Egyptians, geography wasn't just land, it was cosmology. It shaped how they saw the world, ruled their seasons, and defined their gods. As Egyptologist Toby Wilkinson wrote, the Nile didn't just give life, it gave meaning. From pyramid tattoos to Beyoncé's Grammy outfits, the aesthetic of ancient Egypt hasn't just endured, it's thrived for over 3,000 years. During Napoleon's campaigns, Egyptian motifs sparked Egyptomania across Europe. Art Deco, cinema, fashion, architecture, even video games have borrowed heavily from Egyptian symbolism. The Eye of Horus, scarabs, ankhs, and pharaonic headpieces remain global icons. But it's more than style. Egyptian culture represents mystery, power, divinity, and endurance. That's why brands, celebrities, and even national ideologies have appropriated its symbols. The Louvre's pyramid, Drake's album covers, Marvel's Moon Knight, all speak to Egypt's grip on modern imagination. As design historian James Stevens Curl put it, no civilization has been visually revived more often, or more dramatically, than Egypt. From cosmic explosions to erased gods, from glowing pigments to sealed doors, ancient Egypt wasn't just a civilization, it was an engine of mystery. Their secrets weren't just buried, they were encoded into stone, silence, and stars. And we're still unraveling them, layer by golden layer. If this blew your mind, just wait. Next time, we're diving into Egypt's lost cities, where entire worlds might still be hidden beneath the sands and under modern towns.